but he'd certainly sounded scared. "There's no one else I can trust, Scarlet. We need to talk, tonight." "What's going on?" "Someone tried to kill me. I don't want to talk about it over the phone. Just promise me you'll come." Of course she'd promised. Jason's family had lived down the street from the Morenos. Jason and her brother John had been close friends, the same age, the same interests, and had even gone through the police academy together. While John had moved up in the ranks and now was a detective in special operations, Jason liked being a uniformed officer. He was good at it. He volunteered at a local youth center and talked to young kids about the dangers of gangs and drugs. 12 years on the beat hadn't destroyed his optimism. Yet something had freaked him out, and he turned to her, not John. Why? Because John was a cop and she was a private investigator? Why would Jason need a PI? It made no sense. But Jason had sounded scared, and he'd told her not to tell anyone, not even John, so she didn't. If Krista wasn't home, Scarlet would do this alone, but her gut told her she needed backup, and there was no one she trusted more than her partner. Scarlet stopped her Jeep in front of Krista's house because someone else was parked in her driveway, an all-too-familiar black Porsche 911. Well, shit, the slime ball was here. Scarlet debated with herself for about 2 seconds before getting out of her Jeep and striding up the front walk of the money pit Krista had inherited from her grandmother. She rang the bell several times, then started knocking. Krista opened the door, both anger and worry on her face. "Scarlet?" Krista wore a little black dress. By little, Scarlet meant short, sexy, hot. If Scarlet were gay, she'd be all over the blonde. "Change into something that can conceal your Ruger. I need backup." RJ, the scumbag investigator with the hot turbo Porsche, stepped into view. He knew she didn't like him, and she knew he didn't like her. Krista almost blushed. Almost, meaning she glanced down, then at RJ, then back at Scarlet. "I tried calling first," Scarlet mumbled. "I wouldn't have come if it wasn't important." "Give me 5 minutes," Krista said. Scarlet stepped in and closed the door behind her as Krista ran down the hall to her bedroom. Spencer, the chatty macaw that Krista had inherited from her grandmother along with the house, made noise in his cage. "Give us a kiss! Give us a kiss!" Scarlet ignored the bird and glared at RJ. He stared right back at her. Yeah, she could see why Krista had the hots for Drake Walker's lead investigator. He was tall, dark, and handsome, with biceps to die for. But he worked for Drake Walker, the defense attorney whose image was used in Webster's dictionary as the definition of slimy lawyer. Walker certainly couldn't be trusted, which de facto meant RJ couldn't be trusted. And Krista deserved someone who didn't lie, manipulate, or cheat. Scarlet had been trying to set Krista up with her brother for 3 years, but Krista wouldn't have it. What could possibly be better than having her best friend as her sister-in-law? It took Krista 5 minutes to return, and neither RJ nor Scarlet spoke. She'd put her hair back and had a baseball cap in the back pocket of her jeans. "Rain check?" she said to RJ. "I'm counting on it," RJ said. The 3 of them walked out and Krista locked the door. Scarlet waited until RJ drove off before she said, "Shit, Krista. 1 date, nothing more." "All it takes is 1 date." "Nope, not having this conversation with you." She put her hands on her ears to emphasize her point. "Tell me what's going on." "Put your keys away, I'll drive." Scarlet waited until they were on the road before she said, "Do you remember Jason Jones?" "Jones?" It took Krista a second, then she nodded. "Street cop from the valley. Isn't he friends with John?" "That's the one. He and his sister grew up down the street from us, and the 4 of us used to hang out together all the time. He called me an hour ago and wants to meet. Made me promise not to call John. He thinks someone is trying to kill him." "If he's calling you, he thinks the threat is in-house." "That's my guess." They both knew what that meant. 3 years ago, when Scarlet had been a detective and Krista a rookie cop, they had nearly died.